Build your dream home with confidence. The BuildMasters podcast delivers expert interviews and real answers to simplify your toughest decisions. Each episode equips you with insider knowledge and actionable tips. Subscribe today to learn the art of building from the true masters with BuildMasters.
So last year, my family and I had the most awesome opportunity to build our own house. We were the GCs on this build. We had so many questions though along the way. I mean, from contracts, planning, foundations, all the way to final inspection, dealing with subs. I realized at that moment that my dad was my lifeline. He has over 40 years of industry knowledge, and I am super excited because we sat down with him, interviewed him for over 2 hours to really understand the finer points of building, what to look for, tips and tricks, expert advice along the way. I also realized at that point that not everybody has a father like mine that they can just call. So we compiled all of that into the BuildMasters podcast. This podcast gives you expert interviews, extremely good knowledge so that you can feel confident about building your own house or working with a GC or other subs to make it happen for you. So stay tuned. We got a lot of great content coming and we are super excited to share it with you.
How do you get warranty work done in the event that there's a problem?
Contract, mainly the contract.
Okay.
Everything comes back to the contract.
Let's just say they don't show up. Do you literally go take them to court or something like that? They keep asking and asking.
Well, no, first of all, you go to the Registrar of Contractors.
Okay.
Okay. And that's statewide. So the Registrar of Contractors is statewide.
Which is why you want to use a license.
It's not licensed.
Because they have no accountability.
Because most licensed contractors have a bond in place on their license.
What does that mean?
What that means is, okay, a bond means if you do shoddy workmanship and it has to get fixed, they either come fix it or it gets fixed and it goes against their bond. And for what's really weird that I didn't understand, my commercial license had a less of a bond than residential. I think it's because we got more people watching us in terms of engineers and architects.
Well, you've had a lot less complaints in the years.
Well, and also we have a lot less complaints because there's more people looking at your work in a commercial job. Residential job, these guys are all on their own. And so there's not that many eyes looking at it. An architect on most residential jobs might come to the job first and last, not in between. Where on a commercial job, architects at the job weekly. I mean, there's weekly meetings and sometimes twice a week. So there's people watching everything you're doing so that your bond isn't as much. But if there's always a license bond, and then you'll never have a performance bond on a contract for a residential house unless it's a $5 million house. Performance bond is usually an extra insurance thing that's taken out where they don't perform, you can go against their bond. That's not going to happen on a normal residential house. But if they don't come back to fix something, you go to the Registrar of Contractors, then you say, well, can I attack their bond to get it fixed? And the Registrar of Contractors will decide, he'll get them there and say, have a meeting and say, why didn't you fix that? And if they say da-da-da-da-da-da, and then he goes, well, if you didn't ask for it or you changed it and da-da-da-da, there's always like a little arbitration. And that's normal. I mean,
so typically you're going to talk to the contractor, say, hey, I'd like you to come back and do this.
In writing.
However many times. Okay,
in writing.
So email will probably work, right? Is it the timestamp and all of that?
As long as it's in writing
and
he acknowledges that he gets.
Okay. And then you could say, you've not responded, therefore, I'll give you X number of time to respond. If not, I will go to the Registrar of Contractors.
Right.
And I will be discussing it with them.
Right. And then we'll have them, then the Registrar of Contractors.
What's that called? Is that called I'm going to
complaint? That's a complaint. And then usually they'll come up with a meeting date and the Registrar of Contractors will decide until the contractor, yes or no, you have to fix this or you don't have to fix it. And then,
if they refuse to fix it, that when they use their bond?
Then you can attack their bond, which is going through the insurance company that the bond was taken out through. Then the insurance company.
And they don't like that because that will increase their bond payment for next
time
when they have to renew.
Right. So you don't. As soon as you attack,
like using your insurance.
As soon as you attack their bond, it's going to mess them up. So they really don't want you to do that. Then if nothing comes of it and you didn't have a registered contractor and you don't have a bond to go against, then you have to go to small claims court. That can take months.
Yeah.
So
but typically not super expensive because you're not paying a lawyer necessarily. You can just
Right.
go and plead your case.
Depends on how much you spent
I guess that's
to fix it. You know, if you spent $500 to fix it, it's quick and easy. If you spent $5,000, then it's more of a problem.
And in Arizona, from what I understand, and every state I'm sure is different, but you have to file an intent to lien. Like, for example, my roofer, right, filed the intent to lien. They said this is not a lien, right?
Mhm. It's called a
But
pre-lien.
yeah, because they knew that they are paid almost last or towards the end. But from what I understand, though, if you get your C of O, certificate of occupancy, and you're done, right, and nobody's filed an intent to lien or anything, your prelim, they still can't file, or they can
They can do it up to 6 weeks, I believe,
after the CLO, after they're done, or after the CLO, or do you know?
I think it's after they're off the job.
Okay.
So you probably wouldn't get the C of O the day they leave the job.
Yeah.
So I think it's 6 weeks, and that could have changed by now, but I believe it's 6 weeks after they leave the job, after they're complete on the job. If they're complete on the roof, they've got 6 weeks to file that. Doesn't matter when you get the C of O or whatever.
Gotcha.
I think it's the 6 weeks. And like I say, things change so quick.
Well, in every town,
just
is
have to-
different,
you
every
have to-
municipality.
I mean, usually that's a statewide thing. So I just have to look at the new, and those change all the time. So.
Gotcha. Right.
Thanks for tuning in. Hit subscribe to make sure you never miss an episode. Be sure to explore Glass House's exclusive online pricing calculator for instant estimates on gorgeous bifold and multi-slide glass doors. Find the link in the description or visit glasshaus.co. That's glass-haus.co. Until next time.